The universe is always saying yes to wherever you place your sustained attention. Your focused attention becomes a laser beam of manifestation, cutting through the illusion of limitation and carving out the reality you choose to experience. Wherever you put your attention, it will become a reality. Most people think they are victims of circumstances, bouncing between what happens to them. But here's what changes everything. You're not finding your reality, you're not experiencing your reality, you are projecting your reality. You are the source. Like a lighthouse that doesn't find light because it is the source of light. You don't experience circumstances. You are the creator of your circumstances. You broadcast your circumstances into existence through your attention. So, to put it simply, wherever you put your attention, it becomes your physical reality, right? So, probably if you are in circumstances that you don't like, now let's say you don't like your money situation right now, then you are probably putting your attention into aspects of your life where you can find worry, stress, anxiousness, lack, right? Because the more attention you put into the things, the more it grows, right? So if you keep focusing on aspects of your life where you can find lack, then more lack will be present in your life. And most people think that attention is just one thing, that is focusing on something. But there are three distinct types of reality, and each types of attention creates a completely different reality. Now, the first type of attention is the false attractor beam, attention charged with desire. Now, here's where most people get trapped. When you want something, you are actually declaring to the universe that you don't have it. Want is a vibration of lack. When you want money, you are energetically stating, I am someone who lacks money. The universe, being the perfect mirror it is, responds by keeping you in a situation where you continue to want more money. So people want things, right? I want things, you want things, or people, all people have desires. When you say or when you think like you want something, then you state the universe that you don't have it. And from a metaphysical perspective, you can only have what you already have, right? So when you keep focusing your attention on things you want, I want this, I need that, I hope I can get that, then that means you don't already have it. And what do I mean by having? From the universe perspective, when I say that you need to have before you can have things, it is not that you need to have it physically present in your life, but you need to have it within your mind. You need to allow yourself to have it in your imagination before it can become physical reality, right? Let's say you want a house, right? You need to be in your house mentally and start taking care of it. You need to feel grateful for the house you already have mentally, right? You can use your imagination to construct a house of your liking, and you can stay within it. This is how deep visualizations can go. You can take care of your house, you can buy furnitures for your house, you can clean your house even though it is not physically present in your physical reality. You can cherish your house mentally. And that is what I mean by living at the end. The moment you have a desire, you can have it mentally. And the more you persevere in this imagination, the more you persevere in the feeling of already having the thing you desire, the more sooner it will become physical reality. Instead of being the observer of your life, you need to be the director of your life, right? More on this, we'll talk about this later. But the first step of attention is you keep focusing on the things that you want, but by doing that you just prolong on your manifestations. This type of attention creates that familiar pulling sensation internally, excitement mixed with desperation, hope tangled with anxiety. You are literally feeding energy to the experience of not having what you desire. Now let's move on to the second type of attention, which is the repelling beam, attention charged with resistance. When you don't want something that currently exists in your reality, when you fight against problems, fear outcomes, or constantly dwell on what you don't want, your attention becomes negatively charged. This creates internal pressure and stress. But here's the real kicker, it actually densifies and strengthens whatever you're resisting. The energy is still being directed toward it, just from a position of opposition. What you resist will persist. So whatever you don't want in life, right? Most people fight against it, right? When you want something to remove from your life, the best way to do that is to is to start ignoring it, stop paying attention to it, right? Whether you want something or whether you don't want something, the moment you start being attached to it, and either you desperately chase it or you desperately try to fight it, it will result in the same outcome. You will not get what you truly want, right? When you don't want something, when you want to remove something from your life, when you keep fighting it, you keep giving energy to it, you keep giving life force to it, right? And the more energy you give it, the more it will sustain itself in your reality, right? So the best method, the best way to remove anything toxic, anything bad that is happening in your life, is to stop ignoring it. So for example, if you're in a for example, if you're struggling for money, I'm not saying you need to stop paying attention to how you can make more money, but what I'm saying is stop paying attention that you don't have money, that you lack money. You can change your thinking, you can change your thoughts, you can change where you put your attention. If you keep focusing your attention on not having money, not having enough money, and being stressed about it, then that reality will sustain itself. Now, the third type of attention is neutral attention, which is also called as the 0 point gateway. Now, this is the sweet spot, observing without reaction, judgment, or expectation. It's the idle running of consciousness where you are present but not pushing or pulling on reality. From this neutral space comes relief, peace, and most importantly, the ability to consciously choose where to direct your attention next. This is your reset button, your clean slate for deliberate creation. And this is precisely why I meditate, right? I meditate because I want to attain a clear mind. And the more I meditate, the more I become aware, right? Now, we probably have around 50,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. Now, the moment you start engaging with a negative thought, it will spiral into a negative loop, and that will ruin your whole mood or even your whole day. The more you attain a clearer mind state, the more you can become aware of what thoughts that is coming to you from the mental plane. So, whenever you face a negative thought, you can take a step back and realize that this is a thought that you don't want to engage with, right? So, the more you meditate, the more focused your attention is, the more powerful your attention becomes. And with the social medias dominating our life, our attention spans are getting worsened day by day. And so you need to start practicing neutral attention, where you don't pull anything and you don't push anything. You just be. Be with your thoughts and just let them process it. Just letting go of your thoughts and attaining a clear mind. And the best way to do that is through meditation. The more you meditate, the more you can manifest easily. Because manifestation is just concentrating on a desired outcome for a prolonged amount of time. So, so by default, you have to train your attention, and you can train your attention by just sitting simply and just observing your thoughts or just observing your breath and just sit by doing nothing. That is how you train your neutral attention. So, when I said there are three distinct types of attention, I lied because here's the fourth type of attention where you can deliberately choose to create your reality. Because the first two types of attention is you deliberately sabotaging your life. If you keep focusing on the things you want, or if you keep focusing on the things you don't want, you are either desperately chasing it or you are desperately fighting against it, right? Both types of attention are negatively charged. And the third type of attention, which is neutral attention, it is you just sitting with your thoughts and just observing your breath and do nothing, right? Now, let me introduce you to the fourth type of attention where you can choose to create your reality with your attention. Now, this is the true attractor beam. This isn't about wanting something you don't have. This is about placing your attention on what you already are vibrationally, even if it hasn't shown up physically yet. When you focus from this place of inner knowing, your attention becomes charged with certainty rather than desire. You are not pulling something toward you from a position of lack, you are simply allowing your outer reality to align with your inner truth. The difference is subtle but everything. One feels like reaching and grasping, the other feels like natural expansion and receiving. What you know yourself to be, you will experience. Now, this is why someone cannot think about money yet still be wealthy, right? Now, for example, the rich can get richer more easily, and the poor can get poorer more easily. It is because when you are born in a rich household, you are programmed with a belief and identity that you can always have money, you can always make more money, you can always have more money. So the default state for the rich kid is having money, but for the poor kid who was born in a poor household, the default state of that household, of that family, is wanting more money, right? And this is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer in our economy. So these wealthy people, they are not wanting money, they are actually being the person who already has money. It is their identity, it is their frequency. Their attention isn't charged with lack based desire, but with identity based knowing. So, in the metaphysical attention game of life, everything is energy seeking to take form. Your attention acts as the condensing agent, taking subtle possibility and crystallizing it into physical experience. Most of your reality feels stuck not because circumstances are fixed, but because your subconscious attention is locked onto old beliefs that keep creating the same old patterns. These solidified beliefs runs on autopilot, continuously creating your reality without you having to consciously think about them. So when you keep focusing your attention on the things that you lack, then you create beliefs around it. So if I keep focusing attention on the money I don't have, or if I keep wanting more money, then that will create a belief that money is hard to come by, or making money is hard, right? You create these skewed beliefs because you keep putting your attention on the things that you don't want, right? So the best way to go about this is you can shift your attention on things you actually want. You can shift your attention to things that you already have. So the moment you have a desire, you can choose to have it. You can choose to attain it. You can choose to be in the feeling of already having it. But most people don't even allow themselves to have the desire mentally. If you don't allow yourself to have that desire mentally, how can you expect the universe to give it to you physically? It is impossible, right? The moment you understand that attention is pure energy currency, the most valuable resource in the universe, everything shifts. Because wherever consciousness goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, matter follows. So the more you put energy into something, the more you put, because attention is energy, right? So the more energy you put into something, the more that will physicalize in your physical reality, right? So instead of wanting something, or instead of fighting against something, just be like the person who already has it. Start walking in that way, start talking in that way, persevere in the feeling of already having it. Put your attention on the things you already have. Even though you may not have it in your physical reality, you can still put your attention on the feeling of already having. You can see attention's power clearly by observing how a single thought can shift your entire day. One moment you're feeling abundant and grateful, the next moment you check your bank account and suddenly you are in scarcity mode. The external circumstances barely changed, but your attention shifted, and with it, your entire vibrational reality. The name of the game is to shift your attention to what you want to experience and keep it there long enough for it to manifest. Most people scatter their attention like seeds in a hurricane. They give a little attention to their dreams, then immediately shift to their fears, then to social media, then to their problems. This scattered attention creates scattered results. When you have a problem, you can either put your attention on the problem, or you can put your attention on already having solved that problem, right? So whenever I have a problem, I don't stress about it, I don't put my attention on just solving the problem. I let go of it, and I imagine myself already solving that problem. When I imagine myself on already solved that problem, then I am putting attention on a scenario where the problem is already solved. I am putting energy into a scenario where the problem is already solved. And when I give it some time, when I give a couple of hours, and when I'm just normally going through the day, suddenly it clicks. Suddenly the solution pops up in my mind. You may have noticed this, right? The moment you let go of solving that problem, and whenever you're showering or going for a run or doing anything apart from work, then the solution will pop up. When you learn to power your attention, to direct it consciously, and hold it steadily on your desired reality, you become a co creator with the universe itself. The trick is training your attention to focus on what you're becoming, not on what you're missing. By dealing with reality in energy terms rather than fixed circumstances, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities. The universe definition of real is whatever you give your sustained attention to. So, the final question here is, what reality are you powering through your attention today? Are you powering the reality filled with lack, filled with stress and worry? Or are you powering your reality with attention filled with abundance, prosperity, and clarity? You are the source. You have attention. Attention is your weapon, and attention is energy. Wherever you direct your energy, that will become reality. So, that's it from me, and I will see you in another video.